And hello, good morning. Welcome to Kelowna Now Live. It's Thursday, December the 14th, and we have reports topping the news this morning of major delays on the Coquihalla amid report of truck crashes. So closing southbound traffic, and Drive BC says the closure is in effect south of Comstock Road.
There you go. Northbound lane, meanwhile, is down to one lane. Again, check Drive BC to make sure if you're getting out there, but expect major delays. Images posted on social media appear to show as many as 3 crashed semi-trucks. Ooh. One user posting in the Coquihalla Road Report's Facebook page said the road is a mess this morning. Another said the roads are extremely slick. That's what happens when we get that first snowfall, when the weather temperatures are just hovering between rain and snow, and it hits the roadway and it freezes on the roadway, and we end up with skating rinks out there. So extreme caution.
And the road information is brought to you by CSN Collision, of course. The city of Kelowna purchases waterfront lot for a new destination park. Look at that.
That is, we've got a little bit of video that we can show you. So the city of Kelowna has acquired that new waterfront property. I used to go there and park my boat there when I had a boat a long time ago, and we would actually play on that because look at this beach hedge there, because that all that sand comes out of Mission Creek when the in spring runoff. It brings all that sand out there. They dredge that area sometimes too, but it creates this huge beachhead. And this will open it up so that they can have like park access all the way along Mission Creek. You'll see that it's going to connect that area. So it's I'm not sure if Marcy's going to get to that one that shows the connection there. But so there's a video on Kelowna Now that the city put together that kind of shows off that property. And we're going to do a little bit more on this story too, but just to say that is an amazing piece there to get for the city, because that attaches to the Mission Creek Greenway too, right? So we're pretty close to having that loop that I've been talking about for a few years. Just think if we could have the rail trail loop all the way down to Waterfront Park, all the way along the beach, and then all the way back along Mission Creek, and then we just need that piece in there, I think, from Ziprick to the rail trail, and we would have a loop almost like a Stanley Park loop that they have in Vancouver there. So
that would be awesome. Quite an
I think that's a great purchase, and that was a former property was owned by the Trustwell family.
Oh, okay. And it's just off Trustwell Road there then. 3 Kelowna transit exchanges to be upgraded with a portion of the $91 million in funding that the province has allocated to Kelowna, Langford, Saanich, and Victoria. It's going to be split up.
Yeah, so Kelowna is one of those 4 that get a share of significant investment. On Wednesday, the federal minister, San Fraser, and provincial minister Rob Fleming and BC and CEO Aaron Pinkerton announced $91.3 million will be split between Kelowna, Langford, Saanich, and Victoria. In the story, we don't have like who gets what, but any improvements to the transit system would be a welcome improvement, I would say.
And the Canadian food regulator, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, has warned that some kids' meals could contain pieces of wood. Little gourmet organic mealtime bowls. If you see this
veggie chicken pasta, veggie beef lasagna are affected by the recall. The items are produced by Baby Gourmet Foods, a Canadian firm whose products are sold online in major stores across the country. The CFIA warns consumers not to use, sell, or serve or distribute the products. And I would just return them to the store where you bought them.
Yeah. BC Coroner Service breaks with custom to issue a December warning about surging overdose deaths.
I mean, the stuff that we've been hearing from the BC Coroner just really demonstrates their level of frustration, and her resignation also demonstrates that level of frustration.
And so she's just saying here, we're not even going to issue a warning. It's just an ongoing problem.
Yeah, so it's broken its usual practice by issuing a December warning on toxic drugs in the province. It's said an average of 7 people have been dying from overdoses every day in the province, every day for the last 7 weeks. That's every day, 7 people per day. That's a crazy. More than 13,000 people have died from the toxic drugs since the province declared a public health crisis in April 2016. The coroner service said in October that 2023 was on track to be the worst year in history in the drug crisis, and now believes the death toll has even increased above earlier indications. And this warning came a day after Lisa Lapointe, BC outgoing chief coroner, hit out NDP's management of the overdose crisis. She lamented one-off beds and projects and ad hoc announcements that have failed to solve this crisis. BC has not had a thoughtful, evidence-based, data-driven plan for how are we going to reduce the number of deaths in our province. So she's trying to separate the politics from it and say, like, we need some like real thought into what we're doing instead of just like podium stuff. So, and I would say, like, 7 people a day in British Columbia, it's pretty small, right? It's crazy.
That's and it adds up, and that's a lot of families affected, and it's just a tragedy. There's going to be another brief closure of Highway 97 today, of course, near Summerland, 11 to 12:30.
Same time, same place, 11 to 12:30.
Make it a
again,
date.
Find yourself a place to have lunch.
And this is disturbing. Sexual harassment of women, particularly severe in police, military, and CSIS.
According to a professor.
Okay.
Bonnie Robichaud's ordeal started in the late 70s when she got a unionized job as a cleaner on a military base in Ontario. And a Department of National Defense employee became sexually harassing her. Her complaint eventually reached the Supreme Court of Canada in 1987. That takes a long time. It set a precedent requiring employers to provide workplaces that are free of harassment and discrimination. She says things are different now, but it's women and not so much the military that's changed. She said women have become more aware. So the culture has become more aware. Women up to the point didn't even talk about it to each other. Since that victory, they've now sought support from each other, from other women, other groups, legal advice. So women have become more proactive since that Supreme Court decision.
And charges are expected after BC RCMP officer punched while breaking up a drunken brawl.
The RCMP don't like that when they have to go there and people are like fighting. So they responded. Between 2 men were fighting last week. And just before midnight in Trail, officers were called to this fight and found 2 allegedly grossly intoxicated men aged 20 and 25. Surprise, surprise. And our release says the officers observed the 20-year-old man on the ground throwing up and in and out of consciousness after the police arrived. An ambulance was called. However, the man refused to take the medical treatment and left the scene by walking into oncoming traffic. Realizing the man was in danger to himself, the officer arrested him for being drunk in public. Unfortunately, during the arrest, the man allegedly punched the officer in the face. I guess he didn't want to go. Anyway, control the amount of alcohol you drink. Or otherwise, it'll control you.
Find yourself in a dicey situation, that's for sure. Well, it appears that Kelowna's first tiny home cluster will not be operational until sometime in the new year. And with these temperatures, it's...
Kent Mogat did this story. He's been reaching out all day yesterday trying to get a comment. If we get hit with a cold snap, that tiny home project in Kelowna may end up coming a little too late. Work is well underway to install the 60-unit site on Crowley Avenue near the well-established encampment along the rail trail in Kelowna's north end. And he says, if there's delays in getting this facility operating, it seems that getting its staff may be the most difficult part. BC Housing also working on securing a qualified operator. They said that in an email to Kelowna Now. Selecting an operator through an RFP process takes time.
A qualified operator.
I imagine you have to have some qualifications to take on this. I don't know how many people are stepping up to want to do it.
Previous tiny
sounds like
home
the stage is
management
getting
experience?
close. Well, I mean, there's probably a lot of like when you're dealing with the government, there are going to be a lot of regulations that you have to follow, I'm sure. They said they've received application. Will be sharing publicly who the operator for Crowley Avenue site will be in the coming weeks. Kelowna now has been requesting an interview on the subject and instead received a written statement saying the construction is progressing well. All partners continue to, that's just statement stuff, right? One source at City Hall suggests that it's believed that it may be as late as February before residents can move in. It's funny how the government doesn't want to talk when they're, they only want to talk when it's when they're ready to go to the podium, right? And that's not, they hire all these communications people, but they don't let them speak.
It's what do they call that? Transparency. Okay. Police arrested an Okanagan man. This is particularly disturbing. Passed out in a vehicle with an explosive device inside. This is in Vernon.
Yeah, the man was passed out behind the wheel of a vehicle that led to a lengthy police incident in Vernon on Tuesday. They were alerted to the situation in a parking lot of a business on 43rd Avenue at around 10:30. In the process of arresting the 28-year-old from Vernon, police discovered what was suspected to be an explosive device in the vehicle. They quickly moved to cordon off the area and called in RCMP's explosive device unit to assess the situation. When the EDU officers arrived on the scene, they were able to confirm the device contained explosive material. Around 8:45 p.m., a little over 10 hours after the incident began, They rendered the item safe in place. An examination of the device confirmed the presence of an explosive material that is likely to have had potential to cause serious injury if activated. The suspect remains in custody and will remain there until making his next scheduled court appearance later this month.
And the Kelowna Rockets. Look at this. Rockets 3, Wheat Kings 6. So
and they're
a bit of a dive.
In that eastern road swing there. And it's Brandon Wheat Kings snapped the Kelowna's 3-game win streak on Tuesday with a 6-3 win at Westoba Place in Brandon, Manitoba. There you go.
And employees at Etsy are experiencing...
Yeah, let's just start with that. In financial kind of news, we just pulled this one out here. Etsy is laying off some staff too, even though they're experiencing a surge in e-commerce. And they're saying maybe it was due to overhiring during COVID. But that we're seeing this over and over and over again.
And
EV news?
It looks like we have some EV news.
I don't know if Marcy got the video. So here's the one that we were talking about yesterday, where there's a Cybertruck that's stuck. And this is off of Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, posted this. Looks like the Cybertruck was... This is a production candidate vehicle. It's not the production vehicle. And there's a Ford F-150 coming to the rescue. So Jim Farley had a little bit of fun with that, saying, like, if your Cybertruck gets in trouble, you can always count on a Ford F-150. And then we do have another video there and showing you that Teslas do work in the snow. And this one is a Model Y with a plow on the back. And they've got amazing backup cameras so that, people say, why don't they put the plow on the front? But, I mean, they have, like, the cameras in those cars are like 4K. So pretty impressive.
That's a neat and
then another EV news. Best Western International is partnering with Tesla to bring EV charging to 2,000 hotels across North America. We do have in our own Best Western here in town. We do have a supercharger station, and they just inked a deal to do more of that. So you're going to see more and more of this coming as EVs start to become more dominant out there. And then we do have a little community event thing that we'll pass along. Mission Hall is hosting an annual pancake breakfast with Santa on Saturday, December 16th. You live in the Mission.
Yeah, it's a good event.
They
do
those
a really
three girls
good job
down there. Have you taken them before?
Yeah.
There you go. Are you going this week?
There's little crafting stations, and the community comes out. It's very busy.
I understand it's free for the children, and I think there's a $10 fee for the adults.
Yeah.
So you can find out more. We may be doing more on this. I'm not sure.
And our 13 days of Christmas giving, the gifts just keep on coming. The day 7 today, and it's the Prestige Vernon Lodge. The package includes a 2-night stay at the...
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's newly renovated. They've done just an incredible job there. I'm so glad that it was the Prestige that ended up buying this place, because they do a great job of bringing back the former glory of some of these old dame hotels, and it really, in Vernon, this is the place, and you can just see it's a ghetto. You feel like you've left Vernon, but you haven't even left. Anyways, 2-night stay there. You're going to escape to their tropical paradise. $100 dining credit at Cabana Bar and Kitchen. Plus, get your hands on 2 adult lift passes to Silver Star Mountain Resort.
That's a big package.
And a glow box. It's a gift box courtesy of Tourism Vernon with a bunch of their homemade items and stuff like that. The value of this package over $1,100, and you can go enter to win.
That's amazing that's in Vernon.
You know what else is neat about this place?
They actually have a creek.
Yeah.
So that's the old Best Western, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So again, beautiful property. I've eaten lunch in that little restaurant a few times. It's kind of like one cool atrium, right? Because you got the pool and you got the little river that kind of flows through there, and it's got all those sounds and everything.
It doesn't feel like winter when you're in there, that's for sure.
It's a good place to hide from winter.
Yeah.
And that pool looks amazing.
Yeah, they did a great job.
That'd be a great little staycation for somebody that lives in Kelowna. Get
100%.
away. Or maybe just
even if you lived in Vernon, I think it would be great.
Drop the kids off and then go somewhere else. There you go. Great package from Vernon. Vernon is an amazing place too.
Yeah. All right, and then I guess we're going to take a look at our weather forecast. We have a good chance of snow and a good chance of rain today with a high of 4 degrees. You can see it's very socked in.
It's trying to rain and snow right now.
Yeah.
It's trying to do a little of both. That's what makes the roads kind of like really dangerous.
Of course, the higher up, it's going to be messier. Let's take a look at some pictures. What do we have? So there is Big White continuing to get some snow, and move along to some road picture. Oh, there's our city shot right there. Yeah, very low cloud and ceiling right now. And then up at Elkhart, you can see it's pretty messy. And then at the top of the Coquihalla summit there, it's
Yikes.
Yeah, it's dicey for sure. So that's what you're
Limited
in for.
visibility.
We do have a chance of sun tomorrow with a high of 0. So again, whatever snow and rain we get over the next couple of days, it's going to make for sloppy, slippery roads today, tonight. Maybe things clear up by Saturday, sun and cloud with a high of 1. And sunshine in the forecast for Sunday. Maybe a bluebird day up at Big White. Wouldn't that be nice? And then Monday, chance of flurries again with a high of 0.
We have the big Kelowna Santa's wrap party on Sunday as well. That'll be happening at Kelowna Toyota, where we're wrapping toys for over 1,000 children in the central Okanagan, and then delivering those toys. So that's a great local initiative headed up by Kelowna Now over the past, I can't remember now, like 12, 15 years or something like that. And then Kelowna Toyota, Secure Right, and then a lot of the TD banks are involved. Best Buy did a donation yesterday, so lots of businesses are starting to get involved in that, and the need is greater than ever. So Kelowna Santas, if you're interested, you can find there's a Kelowna Santas website. I think it's kelownasantas.com, and if I believe we have enough volunteers already, but if you can always reach out, and I think there's always need for people to help. And
hats off to our head elf Alexa here at Kelowna Now, who does a great job of making sure this comes together every year.
There you go.
All right.
We were expecting a call from somebody at Big White, and what was his?
Maybe we'll take the Andrew. Maybe we'll talk.
Yeah, maybe he'll call in a bit. Maybe he got tied up in a snowstorm.
Let's hope. I guess.
But if he calls in, we're gonna do the weekend snow report for Big White, and I'm sure he'll call in next little while, and we'll just do it as a standalone piece.
All right.
And yeah, so careful out there. We reported on 3 deaths in the last little while on road tragedies in the past little while, and turns out this morning I found out it was a person that I went to school with in Greenwood there. So terrible. So I mean, we're all connected, right? So
yeah, true enough.
Be careful.
All right. Other than that, have a
Stay
great
safe.
day.